Okay, everybody. Berserker Bear coming for round 2 from Buffalo. Try to do a little bit of Mudflood Tartarian reset research here. My crude setup. So we got Buffalo, and in my last video I proposed that what we see is this green patch going all the way from here and down out to Sloan into the fields with the quarry for backfill. I presume that not only was it used for transportation, but to also supply the fields with water irrigation. There goes the Buffalo Airport. So in this one, I want to get a little bit more on the ground as far as mudflood evidence. Or I'm just going to put it out there right now and say, not to dispel mudflood in any way, shape, or form. We're zooming into the Peace Bridge right now. Peace Bridge. That's Canada. That landmass is Canada. America, Canada, Peace Bridge. Mudflood evidence. Not to dispel mudflood. But some of it to me looks like it could be terraforming and purposely sloped or purposely backfilled buildings, not just backfilled canals to make railroad tracks. There goes another railroad track. But stuff that's backfilled and filled in to make it look, not make it look, but what we would determine looks like mudflood. And right along this portion of the Niagara River, American side, under the Peace Bridge, I think is not evidence of mudflood, even though it's the exact same stuff we're looking at. This is some thick gravy right here because there's old stone. And I'm going to try to, I could see it from the thruway, the 190. When I'm passing by on these buildings, this is a hill right here. This goes downhill here. Okay, now you want to talk some mudflood gravy. But now I wouldn't say that I would say that this is terraforming, especially with the ley line right there. And there's one building along here, there you go, where you can see the old stone. And wow, look at they're doing stuff on it right now. Well, this is old, but okay, here you go. Now, my aim is to get up on here one day. When I say hit the tracks, I'm talking hit these tracks and hump it to this area right here. Now, this is what we would say mudflood. You would never ever build, and this is good evidence right here. They would, you know what, this construction can actually give you an idea of how it might not be mudflood, but it might be terraformed. Now, when I say terraformed, I say a reset from the last age, where picture all the neighborhoods just gone and flattened because they weren't built yet, and they just literally terraformed the entire expanse from, like, let's say from Toronto all the way down to Buffalo. And you would have the star forts poking out and the cathedrals poking out, and they terraformed around them, backfilled them in, and constructed all the neighborhoods. That's a grand theory that I have. that what we see as mudflood might be terraformage construction, purposefully backfilled old architecture. Some of it is saved, some of it is flooded, like we see here in Tiff Nature Preserve. I've been over this real quick. I'll be getting to this thing soon. This parapet right here. Okay. So with this, I urge you to look up the Tower of the Winds in Athens. Now, certainly this could just be from the War of 1812, fought along the shores of Niagara River, Lake Erie, and in Buffalo. That's a historical fact. Now, look at that. Looks kind of like it goes in, too. Very interesting. I'll get my nose on that thing. I understand that it could be from the War of 1812, but it very well could be from the same people who built the Tower of the Winds in Athens. Hint, hint, possibly Tartarians. The benevolent rulers of this realm prior to the current usurper Prometheans, in my opinion. And look at that right there. It kind of looks like an old building, squared off. That's Tift. Okay, kind of getting off a little bit here. Let's go back up to the Peace Bridge. Now this could be old Star Fort stuff here too, actually, Buffalo River. Old Fort Niagara is certainly a Star Fort. Go look that up. I'm not doing it right now. Let's go back to the Peace Bridge, because I want to get through this pretty quickly. This might close now, actually. I'm working off of a tablet, and sometimes it does this. My apologies. The Not Nilk knows I'm looking up the Mudflood. Yeah, what's going on here? Okay, under the Peace Bridge. Again, is it mudflood evidence or is it terraforming evidence? I strongly urge you to also incorporate in your research the fact that it could be terraformage. Okay? Especially when there's a ley line here, a railroad. Now, this is also a portion of the Erie Canal. But if you look at the Canadian side, it's not terraformed like that up here. There you go. Apologies. Just going to have to roll with it. This is a very old tablet. Now, the Canadian side is not like that as much at all. So, I mean, I don't know. You'd think that if it's a mud flood and it covers the expanse of like everything that we would think, you know, mud flood, that's what we think the mud came in, right? Then we should see it on the Canadian side too. I don't know. Because we don't isn't proof against it, but it's also possible evidence that it was terraformed, mega terraformage. They talk about terraforming in the movie Prometheus too. You know, subtle truth drop, who knows? But you can see, begin to see it, and you could look this up yourself. Okay, I'm giving you hints here. Now, okay. Also, the Great Arrow Complex in Buffalo. I believe there's also some more Tartarian architecture. It's a whole complex. And I believe this was also the northern edge of the Pan American Exposition. It's a huge building. Refacaded. I'm not going to be quick here, but I've never been in here yet. But this looks like all old stuff in here. It's almost like a city inside of the city. And I just wanted to briefly go over the Great Arrow because it is incorporated with the railroad. You got a railroad system here. It was part of the Pan American Exposition. The most northern part of it, you got a nice Tartarian possible building or manufacturer there. It's got the smokestack. But look at even the back over here. There you go. Very interesting. Okay, now I'm going to get into some data research to get you guys on a certain path as far as looking up history. Oh, there's the Pan American Exposition layout. Very interesting. Only a couple of these buildings still exist, which would be the Albright Knox Art Gallery, this art gallery. Everything else was pretty much demolished. Everything. And I urge you to look up pictures of this. The electric tower. You got to be kidding me. Stadium. What were stadiums? Ley lines. We were allegedly told all this was paper mache stuff. I urge you to look it up and tell me if you think it was paper mache. And they tore that electric tower down and these stadiums down. The manufacturer, liberal arts building, they were absolutely gorgeous. I refer you to John Levy, Autodidactic. Those channels just absolutely blow it out of the water. But right now what I'm going to do is show you how it hits home in Buffalo. So here we go. Bear with me. I will try to make this quick. I want to get a couple things in here, and it's a crude setup, I'm sorry. There you go. Yeah, paper mache. Pan American Exposition. I mean, okay. They knock that stuff down and they'd say that it's paper mache. This is Tartarian stuff here. This is the epic beauty and grandeur that it was. That was the electrical tower. The Pan American Exposition was in like 1902. Look at the beams of light. Look at the beams of light. We've regressed. We may have gotten more technical and tiny within our iPhones, but we cannot, what we're trying to say, one of the things that we're trying to say with the reset and the Mudflood, Tartarian stuff is that we cannot do this. Look at the layout of it. There goes a bird's eye layout of, there you go, Pan American Exposition. Just out of sight. That's cool, the layout. How it would be look over Buffalo right now. That's very cool. I've never seen that. I can actually use that. Okay, so what we're going to do right now is look up I'm so sorry about the crude nature of this. Real quick. So let's find out who built this beautiful building. Look at that. Tartarian, it's kind of unique. Beautiful for sure. Okay, so let's do some research. Yeah, everybody and their brother are going to go to Wikipedia. Buffalo City Hall. All right. Is the seat for municipal government City of Buffalo, New York, located 65 Niagara Square, yada yada. 378 foot tall. Illuminati confirmed. When measured from the street level, yada yada. Tallest building. Okay. Western New York. It was designed by Chief Architect John Wade. Okay. With the assistance of George Dietel. The friezes were sculpted by Albert Stewart and sculpture executed by Rene Chamberlain. Okay. Buffalo City Hall's rest. Now, John Wade. I go to click on John Wade and it says this page has not yet been created. Okay. With the assistance of George Dietel. Who's that? That page has not yet been created. This is on Wikipedia. Buffalo City Hall. No pictures of construction. There goes another architecture too. Tartarian architecture in Buffalo. We'll look that up too. Okay, we're 0 for 2 here. Albert Stewart. Okay, here's Albert Stewart. He was born in Kensington, England, arrived here in 1908, orphaned shortly thereafter, and then you wound up building City Hall, right? Okay, an orphan though, right? An orphan trains, okay. Intervention, bow, during selected architectural sculptures. Buffalo City Hall friezes, okay. He's cited as being one of the architects, only doing the friezes though. Whatever, that's saying it wrong, I'm saying it wrong. Go back to Wikipedia. Okay, now we want to look at the company who built it. Sculpture was, okay, this is all sculpting. City Hall was listed as National Register of Historic Places. Okay, where are the construction built? You know, it was built in 1931. Definitely allegedly. The photograph was definitely invented by then. Construction, here we go. Okay. So the company that it was built by, the John W. Cowper Company, doesn't even have a thing to go to. And if you look it up, it's not, there's really no information about it. But it says that it's the same company who built the Statler Hotel, Buffalo Athletic Club, and then that's it. City Hall was also the tallest building. There's nothing about the construction really, pretty much. No construction pictures. So I urge you to go find, anybody wants to find me, then you got popular culture. That's for this type of building, a historic building in Buffalo. This is the Wikipedia page. No, like nobody wants to know how that thing was built. No one wants to know that. I want to know it, and I go to try to figure it out, and I can't. It's in the National Register of Historic Places, but on the Wikipedia page, I can't find anything about it. This is what I'm talking about a reset of history. Okay, let's just do construction. Okay, the company that built the Cowper Company, the same one that built the Statler Hotel. Statler Hotel has the old architecture to it too. Oh yeah, it's not going to show in Buffalo. So that's that for, you can figure your way out down the rabbit hole for that one, or the rest of the way. You see what I'm getting at here, though? If you don't, well then, you know, maybe you're not interested. So let's go back to Tartarian buildings here in Buffalo. Now that's a SUNY Erie Community College. Now, with what I just looked up about City Hall, I urge you to go look up and who made this building. Same type of deal. No pictures of construction. I'm not going to do it right now, but you've seen what I did with City Hall and how it just falls apart right after the first page. If you could find out the information, my email address is in my about of my YouTube page. DustinKirby062@gmail. Meanwhile, doesn't this look like it's got more underground? Just saying. And we have this architecture all over Buffalo. Look at that steeple. There goes Buffalo City Hall. No pictures of building it. No real keen idea on the construction company. And it closes again. So Berserker Bear out. More to come. Just another brief preview. Soon to get boots on the ground, on the tracks, Stand By Me style, and in and around these buildings, and research about this Mudflood terraforming information. Okay, I'm out. See you later.